Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of FsPassengers with me, Heard37. In this flight, we're going to go from Miami, where we were, and as you can see, we're going to go down to Key West, that's KEYW. It's a really short flight, just about 109 nautical miles, as you can see. And let me look over at the map real quick. Oh, by the way, the wind, as you can see, is pretty much coming from the east. So if I zoom in here, let's see, we're going to land on runway 9. Pretty much lines up perfectly there. Alright, go over here to the chart. As you can see, the approach course is 093 degrees. The runway is 4,801 feet long, and the touchdown point and the airport elevation are both at 3 feet. It is 119.675. Alright, we're going to come down here to Chet's, and then we're going to come down to 1,500 feet at Int'l. At 183 degrees, then make a left heading of 093 degrees over to Busby, and then down to the runways at a 3-point glide slope, 3-degree glide slope. And I left this up because you can hear, here's Chet's right here, then down to Int'l. We make our turn, like I said, to Busby, and then down to the runway. And I think that's all we need to show right here. With that, we can go on over to the plane. Alright everybody, here we are at the plane. We're at Landmark Aviation. Feels like we're way far away from everything else, which we probably are. Hopefully we'll get to use the runway right over here or something. And this airport, remember, is by LatinVFR, also Key West by LatinVFR. We're going to be flying in the Caribbean, and LatinVFR has tons and tons of scenery for the whole Caribbean and all that. So be pretty good. Let's see, passengers flight. We'll go ahead and load this thing up. Oh, I got to switch my company over. Because last time I haven't flown in a while, to be quite honest. FsPassengers. Select our active company. Let's go over to YouTube Airlines. There we go. Now we can load her up. Got all 4 people. Yeah, I wish we could hold more. Alright, so we got our 4 people. Obviously, we don't need much fuel. We'll just drop it down to like 30. We'll probably chock her full of cargo. Yeah, it's no problem whatsoever. Alright, probably don't even need 30%, but I'm just going to leave it because we have to have extra, for the reserves and everything. Normal flight. Let's set our destination. I said, this Key West, KEYW. We've actually been here before.
Destination
it's
set.
been over a year since we've been down here. We didn't use scenery back then. Key West.
Check handset.
In fact, that Key West, when we were flying there, I was actually using my rudder pedals and yoke back then. All right, gonna have them put their seatbelts on. All right, let me break out my procedures here. It'll take a little bit longer to get everything started. Alright, we'll say that the pre-flight inspection, cabin door, pilot door, baggage, parking brake is set. Down here. Weight and balance, all that good stuff. First page is kind of useless. Alright, before starting the engine, belts and everything, that's all good. Normal mask, landing gears, control is down. Alright. Avionics master switch, come up here. This goes, make sure it's all the way down. Alright, so that goes to start. Alright, so the ignition switch can go to auto. I can't tell if they're like in the middle or down or up or what. Alright, so that's auto or off. Source selector. We want to be on battery. Move that. Alright, so now we should be on battery, correct? Yeah, there we go. Say that we're on battery. We could also be on GPU if we wanted. Authorization for starting the engine, we're not going to ask for that. Oxygen, we don't care about that. Co-pilot and pilot mask, don't care about that. Passenger briefing, we'll say that's already done as well. Before starting the fuel. Quantity should be checked. Come down here if we want to do that. See the oil pressure blinking? That's just fine. Fuel 46 and 46. Tank selector left or right. So that's in right there. And let's see, fuel selector switch goes to auto. Although we've never been able to get this to work. It works part of the time, so that goes to auto. Alright, exterior light strobe is required. We need them off, obviously. In case of night flight, we don't need that. It even tells you where to put your flashlight. Make sure you got your flashlight if it's night flight. Alright, so electrical power, we are on battery. Let's check the voltage. That's down here as well. Should be around 24.5, give or take a little bit, where you can see 27.6, so we're good. Engine controls, manual override control is off. That's in the notch position. I believe that's right over here. Yeah. Manual override right here. That's off. Alright. Power lever. Is it idle? Let's see. Move that down here. Is it idle? Propeller governor lever goes to max RPM. And the condition lever is in cutoff. Got that. Alright, flaps are retracted, as you can see over there. Fuel panel, auxiliary boost pump switch comes on. So how do you tell? I think it's got to be this one. I'm going to turn that on. I don't know what this little one right here is for. It's like a primer? I have no idea. Alright, so that goes on. Alright, the propeller area is clear. Engine start panel goes to auto. I've already got that on. Starter switch come on. See, I can't really see over here, but 13% we go to... Should have made a better review for that. We put this on low idle. And hope that we don't go flying forward. Right, it never tells you when to turn the starter off, but now that we're started, I'm going to go ahead and turn that off. You can see the oil pressure has stopped blinking. That message. Alright. Skip a couple pages because it's talking about things go wrong, but nothing went wrong for us. Sure, I don't need any of that. Because it seems like we're supposed to turn that condition lever up. I can't remember. Yeah, condition lever now goes to high. Engine instruments such as oil pressure and temperature are all over here. Pressure and temperature look like they're both actually the green. The generator, it's actually fuel. Let's go back up there. The bump auxiliary comes back off. Alright. In generator, it doesn't actually say, but I guess we turn it, it says, it just says generator, it doesn't even actually say anything. And main generator, I think, is what we want, because it says the warning message, main generator should come off, and I don't believe I see that here. Yeah, the bleeder is off like it's supposed to be. Parking brake is on, obviously. In the pitot, we have not turned on just yet. Alright. So that's that checklist. Sorry, but we're going through so many checklists, man. These checklists are huge, some of these. Although there's not like it's a full page on each one, which is one of the problems. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and actually ask for permission to get out of here before we do any of this. We're heading south. Actually, we're kind of heading west. Actually, I should have said west.
With whiskey. Request taxi for takeoff. South departure. Tango Oscar 666, taxi 2 and hold short of runway 8 left via taxiway Kilo 1. Contact tower on 123.9er when ready.
Alright, acknowledge that.
2 and hold short runway 8 left
taxi.
using taxiway
By the way, it
Kilo 1.
never
Tango Oscar
told me to turn on the
666.
avionics, but obviously I need to. Oh, hell. It didn't say anything about this, so I didn't use that either. Oh, we're getting dinged. We're getting dinged already. Daggone it. Yeah, see, I relied so much on the list that I didn't even think about that since it didn't say anything about them. This is one of the bad things. Alright. So we got that all good. And we are heading over to what runway? 8 left. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this like 080. Alright, there we go. Taxi lights we will put on right here. And the inert SEP we need to turn on. That's right here. Yeah, it's this on.
Miami ground, American 187.
Get over here.
To the gate. American
Ito and Sahid coming on.
Delta 16 via taxiway Kilo 6.
And I'm gonna go ahead and turn the bleed air.
Mike, November 9er, November 5. Taxiing to 8 Delta 16 using taxiway.
Is this the bleed air?
Kilo 7 Lima 7 Mike 7 Mike November 9er.
Alright, so that's an
November
auto.
5. American 1871.
Alright, parking brake is coming off. Actually, before we do that, they do say one other thing, or a couple other things. Parking brake, see it says release, but we can't do that yet. If it wants to do all this, power lever, obviously, cabin pressurization control panel, cruise altitude plus 1,000 feet.
Hold position, caution, Boeing 767.
We're going up to about 8,500, so I want to set this to 9,500. Although I've been struggling, I still don't quite understand this. I think this should go just below 1. Is this not it? Why can I not control that all of a sudden? Oh, I can't move that yet. Alright. Make sure. Alright. The next thing is for the run-up, so let's go ahead and taxi on over to our runway. By the way, things are going to be jagged, obviously. It's hard scenery to run. I wonder what our frame rate even is right now. 9 frames a second.
Contact tower on 118.3 when ready.
I've got everything turned to dense, by the way.
Taxiway 9er, November 7, November Papa Mike 1, American 219er.
There's so many planes here and everybody on the radio. Oh man. Just try to get away from that guy. It's scenery is hard as hell to run. But once we get away from Miami, everything will get much better. Key West should run fine. It's not that bad. But this, from LatinVFR, this is their best scenery they've ever done. This is, I think, Miami version 2, I'm wanting to say. And it is quite nice. I have the Miami City, but I don't have that installed. As you can see, trying to run both of them is quite bad.
American 971 with X-ray, ready to taxi IFR.
Alright, we are on 8 left, so that is the closest one, by the way.
And hold short of runway 8 right via taxiway 9er, November 7, November Papa Mike 1.
And for the sake of getting out of here, we'll stop right here. Wow, it should take so long to stop, huh?
Via taxiway 9er, November 7, November Papa Mike 1, American 9er 71.
Okay, so that guy just came in on the opposite direction, which is always weird.
X-ray, ready to taxi IFR.
Cause I tell you, if we're gonna go 8 left, we might as well get on the runway like right here.
Short of runway 8 right using taxiway 14 November 13 November November 10 Mike November 9er November Papa Mike 1 contact
We'll
tower on
get on 8 left, maybe just right over
when
here.
ready. Tango Oscar 666 hold position.
Come on, man.
Caution other traffic.
After I just stopped and was ready to go.
1871 continue taxi. Hold position Tango Oscar 666.
This is not the airport where I want to have to stop and everything.
Roger, American 1871.
We should be fine to taxi, even though he told me not to. I'm going for it.
November 13 November November 10 Mike November 9er November Papa Mike 1 American 2167. American 2167.
Come on, girl.
Position, caution other traffic. Miami ground, Alitalia 630, heavy taxi to the gate. Alitalia 630.
That was Alitalia, though. Like, I thought that looked like an Alitalia plane. Wow, this is hard to control. It's so jagged.
American
Making that turn.
Hold position, caution, Boeing 767 on the taxiway. Tango Oscar 666, continue taxi. American 941, continue taxi. Roger,
There we go.
Oscar
See, it's just
666.
ATC.
Juliet 14 via taxiway.
I'm gonna go ahead and head over to the tower. Let's talk hopefully over there anyway. And we'll get on the runway right over here. Still got a little bit more to do on the checklist before we get out of here. It's gonna be hard to taxi, it's so jagged. Alright, stop right here. Put my parking brake on. Get that off my screen. Alright, the parking brake is set. The condition lever is in high idle. Propeller governor, let's feather it twice. And then that goes back to high RPM. Flaps set to takeoff. Alright, de-icing, we're not going to need any of that. We're in hot area. If runway is in good condition, you can turn the inert SEP off. So, I will. So it does look like it's in good condition. Obviously not wet or anything. Okay, windshield heat and pitot heat, now they turn them on. See, I turned it on earlier. It says window as required. So I don't know if that's actually window heat or if that's like a window de-icing. I'm not too sure. Alright. Pilots, passenger seatbelts, obviously. Strobe switch will come on. I'm not going to do that just yet because we're not entering the runway yet. FsPassengers can have a little deal with that as well. Altimeter, reset. Fuel, check, and symmetry. It's right looks a little bit higher. They look pretty daggone equal, actually. I wonder if that's changed itself. No, it's still on right. Alright, flight instruments. Everything is checked. Let me get this up here as well. Controls. Everything is good. Fuel selectors, the switch is in auto. We already did that. Auxiliary BP fuel switch goes to auto. Alright, altimeter setting we've already done. Our radios. Let's see here. Alright, now we can ask for permission. Well, I guess we're not close enough, so we'll have to move a little bit closer. Come on. Parking brake is off. See if let me talk to him. Oh, come on. Getting awfully close to the runway. Come on. It's not gonna let me ask. Well, alrighty then. That kind of sucks. I'm gonna go up here, and we're gonna turn our strobes on, and our landing lights as well, since we are gonna get on the runway, even though they're not talking to us. Alright, so we'll go ahead and line up. See if it ever does switch over. See, I just entered the runway and she never said anything. It's kind of odd. Alright, so let's go over here and line up. Yeah, that's kind of weird that it never actually popped up. Disappointing. Alright. Sorry about the controlling it, but man. 9 frames a second shoots hard. Oh, see that? Why are they bringing us, having us take off on 8 left, and now landing people on 27 right, or 26 right? And now he has to go around because I'm on the thing. That makes no sense. When lined up, let's check all this. Altimeter, like I said, is already set. The lights are already on. Instrument instruments are checked. Instruments are checked. Alright, and we're pretty much ready to go. So let's go for it. Alright, here we go. Everything is in the green over there. Don't want to push her too hard. FsPassengers will make me break it. Alright, we're up. Wow. Positive rate gears coming up. Try to hold her steady here. The jacket is to stop. I'll probably come on and say you didn't have permission to take off. ATC services terminated, but that's alright with me. Alright, flaps are retracted. Now it says to set the torque to 85 or 83.3. So a little bit hard to get her. Yeah, see, just the slightest movement will take her way up. Alright, it says between 100 greater to equals 6,579. Our airspeed should be about 115. As you can see, we're right at 118. Actually, it says torque should be now. Sorry, the flat thing was at 850. Torque should be 121.4%. And actually increase our torque. I'm going to leave that right at the yellow part, though. I get a little worried with FsPassengers. So we're missing some good scenery outside.
Miami Tower, Eagle Flight 3533, 620 miles northwest inbound ILS, runway 12 approach. Eagle Flight 3533, Miami Tower, fly straight in, runway 12, altimeter 3006.
Alright, autopilot is coming on. Heading. You set my altitude to 8,500. Vertical speed. Just bring that up to about 1,000 feet a minute. Make sure this has got it before we go looking outside. Yeah, we'll actually go above 1,000 feet a minute. See our speed, climbs like a beast. Head down to the south here. Make sure you come a little more over. Go dead south for a minute. 180. We're still going to be jagged. Hopefully she doesn't OOM on me. That's my fear. Not bad. Like I say, I don't have Miami City installed. It's so hard to run. I mean, this 9 frames a second, could you imagine? With put everything else on too. Let's see. Do we have anything? Yeah. So we don't have to listen to people talk. Alright, it says climb speed at 130 knots. We're obviously much higher than that, but we're going at 1,300 feet a minute too. Alright, the yaw damper is on. The taxi light can come off. Landing lights are still on as we're under 10,000 feet. Well, we're going to stay under 10,000 feet, like I said, as well. Alright, bleed air was in auto, so that's just fine. We can actually bring our power back a little bit. Alright, pressurization check. We couldn't. I don't understand why that doesn't want to work. There, now it's moving. I don't understand why I wouldn't do it earlier. So that's times 1,000. So I think that's actually times 10. This aircraft altitude. So that would be 20,000. That doesn't quite make sense to me. I'm going to set it right at 1,000? Put it at 900. We're flying 8,500 feet, so it should be at about 9,500. So we'll leave it right there at 967. We'll let them have some AC. Is that what I just did? There we go. Have some AC. Cool them down. We come over here. Smooth our heading. We need to go over to the west. We don't know if you go dead left to get over to it. Kind of go down along it. Alright. Fuel tank gauges. Can't read them. It's like we need to make another view for over here for all these gauges. 44 and 36 was not perfectly symmetrical, which I kind of expected. Let's see if I want to see if she'll kick over to the left automatically. DI system, as I said, we don't need to worry about any of that. So we're coming up on 8,500. Make sure our speed has dropped a little too much. I slowed it down, but I didn't mean to slow it down that much. Pressurization, fuel. Alright. Get up to our cruising altitude. So maybe we'll bring the vertical speed down a little bit. We're coming up to 8,500 though. Alright, and our power lever, we can adjust to whatever we're going to cruise at, obviously, and we can lean this out. I'm going to put it around 50. Alright, and in the cruise, Just check the pressurization. We don't have any problem with pressurization right now. And we will regularly check the fuel gauges, consumption, and everything. That's all good. Alright, awesome. So everything looks good from here. 31 minutes until we're expected to get there. Looks like about 109 miles from right where we are. Then once we get over closer to the line, I'll switch it over to nav. We need to check CDI first before we do that. So many things to do with the daggone procedures. Make sure that's the GPS. Our track will be 238. So alright, I'll go ahead and speed her up, everybody. And we're really close, so we really will be back in just a second. Alright, everybody, slowing her down here because we've got a few things to look over. By the way, I forgot to mention, when I went through the FSX's flight planner, I was able to put it over just how we were coming in. Cheats, Int'l, and Busby, and then over to the airport. So that was kind of sweet. We're going down right now to 1,500 feet, which is where we want to be at Cheats. The flaps are up. The altimeter setting, I'm going to go ahead and reset it. Altitude select, we have it at 1,500. DI system, we don't need to worry about that. Cabin pressure control panel. Alright, that's about right there. Alright, windshield misting protection system as required. We don't have any problem as I can see. fuel, I've been checking the gauges. It says select the fullest tank. The right is just barely more full. It'll probably switch here in just a minute. So I'm not going to mess with that, actually. Passenger briefing, don't worry about it. Cease passengers, don't worry about any of that. Yeah, I need a view set over for our left. I want to check something. $19,675. Although I think someone was saying FSX doesn't do 3 decimals. I'll have to check. That you actually have to go to the next roundest one or something. Let's see what it does. Alright, so 119,675 will in fact not give us anything. Take this one down to 119. See if we can find it. Might have to be 0.7 650 675 didn't work. Daggone it, Addons. What is up with that? I can't get Addons. It's 119.7, so I went through those and can't find them. Damn it. Alright. So I'll just have to hit the button to make it automatically do that. Alright. So, fullest tank. I'm going to go ahead and switch this over to the right. By the way, condition level almost at 3,000 feet, so I'm going to put that to full. I've moved this back to 100, or max RPM, I should say, which is what it needs to be. Inert set under 200 knots. We turn this back on. Actually, let me turn that off because that's before landing, so I'm going to turn it off for now. It's not really on the descent. Alright, so we're almost at Cheats. We've got about 1,400 feet to go. Come down here and check our procedures. And I'm hitting the range button instead. Select the approach. Enter. And she won't move. Approaches none. Can I not? That's a bunch of crap. Well, I've got all those points in. It's kind of annoying. It actually will not let me select anything. Alright, so we'll just have to go back to here. Yeah, let me move my range back down because I've got an 80. There's a back down to 50. And at Cheats, we will turn to a heading of 183. Alright, we can actually speed it up a little bit. Oh wait, take no It's just over there. You can't really see it. Almost to Cheats, 1.2 miles away. And there we go. Turning now to Int'l. We want to be there at 1,500 feet. Turning 183, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this to 183. By the way, the heading of the runway, let me see if I can move my course. No, I can't because we're in GPS mode. We're going to turn left to Int'l over to Busby. We will also be at 1,500 feet there and on a heading of 093 degrees. As you can see, we're 2 miles away. The scenery here is pretty daggone good, except for right around the airport. LatinVFR does that photo reel, and I gotta say, I absolutely hate photo reel. I'm gonna give her a little more power here. Slowing down a little too much. Busby, like I said, at 1,500 feet, it's a heading of 093. Seems like you come in too low at 1,500 feet, I gotta say. We've gotten a little too quick here. Let's see, I can't tell if we're on it or if that's saying we're a little low. Busby is 2.6 miles away, 2.4 now. Our speed is coming down. I'm gonna go ahead and do the before landing checklist because we're gonna have too much to do. Fullest tank, they're both pretty much even now. Okay, max RPM is good. Inert SEP is on. Go ahead and drop the gear. Make sure we got our lights. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and set the flaps. Our speed's coming down a little too much. By the way, I cannot see the runway now. Autopilot coming off. Had to pitch up so high, turn that yaw damper off. I'm glad I remembered that. I hate that thing. Right, we're 4.5 miles out. It feels like seems like we're a little high. I'm gonna go ahead and pitch this thing back down. Flaps coming out. Alright, we're at full flaps. We're a little high now. Bring back the power. Landing speed will be around 80 or so. That's the approach speed, I should say. Back the power a little bit more. Should be getting close to the glide slope here. Our speed's a little high. Alright, everything looks good. I can't tell if that's saying high. It almost looks like there's a red light behind it. Speed's getting a little low. Actually, it's right there. It's right where I wanted actually. I feel like we're too low. I'm gonna give it some power. See, I don't like our approach here. I feel way too low. I can't see a thing. Of course, we're way too high. I've totally butchered this one. Shouldn't be a surprise to anyone. I gotta say, I'm really not enjoying this aircraft a whole lot. Gonna be a little long. Ugh. Retracting the flaps. I gotta say, man, I don't know about this aircraft. I really am not enjoying it. It's so difficult on the landing. I feel like we're right on the glide slope, but it feels so low and I'm having a hard time seeing. It's really kind of ticking me off. Almost want to jump into another aircraft. But we'll give her I'll work with it a little bit more when I'm not flying FsPassengers. And just work with it a little more. Alright, put my parking brake on. Try to add on the taxi light. Landing lights, some strobe can come off. I think that's off. Alright. Let's go over to the taxi. The taxi light is on. SEP is on. Passenger briefing. I don't know why you'd have to brief the passengers about it. Well, I guess tell them to stay in their seats and keep their seatbelts on. Let me see if over and see if they'll give me parking. Yeah, take me over to parking.
Westbound, Tango Oscar 666. Request taxi to parking. Tango Oscar 666. Taxi to General Aviation Parking via taxiway
DA88. Alright, so let's go ahead and acknowledge that.
General Aviation Parking via taxiway Delta Alpha 8. Tango Oscar 666.
Turn on the progressive taxi. And I like all the aircraft down here, I gotta say. It's pretty daggone cool. Alright. Parking brake is off. Come on, girl. Takes a little while to get going. Yeah, they even got like the private jets here, helicopters, small general aviation aircraft. I really like that. The only thing that disappoints me about the scenery is just around the area of the airport. LatinVFR does that photo reel, and I gotta say I'm not really into it. It looks fine when you're at a high altitude, like flying over the airport, but when you're landing close to it, I don't prefer that. We saw like the cruise ship as we were approaching, all that stuff in the bay, everything that's like, I really like that kind of stuff. And they're gonna have me park where my wings are actually hitting someone else's wings. This is terrible. Yeah, we can't park there. We may just make our own parking spot right here because we cannot park there. Set my parking brake. Alright, so check this out. See, I need that view. de-icing system, all that is good. Intercept was still on. Turn off, or sorry, we turned that off now. Turn the pitot heat off as well. Bleed air, don't really require, care about all that. Flaps are retracted. The strobe lights, landing lights, everything is off. Landing lights were off. Taxi lights will be off. Alright, shutdown. Parking brake is set. Condition lever is in high idle. You're supposed to let it idle for a minute, at least a minute. Taxi light, like I said, is off. AP trims master switch is off. I never turned that on. I still am not too sure about that. Alright, avionics master switch goes to start. Bleed air comes off. Should be in the off position. Turn the AC off as well. There we go. Air conditioning is off. Propeller governor feather for 15 seconds. I'm not sure why they want you to do that, really. Actually, intercept is actually technically supposed to still be on. Alright, go to cutoff. Now intercept goes off. Avionics master switch goes off. And all the external lights. It does, and then it says all switches off. Exterior lights panel. Alright, like I said, all off. Alright, interior lights, all the switches, oh, I don't like that, off. Interior, these are all off anyway. Auxiliary boost pump switch. Go off. Let's see, tank selector. Put that in manual. This tank selector needs to go off. There it is. Let's see, generator selector. Come off. Actually, you can just do that to get all that off. Source goes off. Crash lever, push down. I'm not even sure what the crash lever is. Unless that's this thing. Parking brake. I'll just leave it on, even though we don't technically need it to be on. Alright, we got dinged. I know. So let's go ahead and end the flight. Alright, 109 nautical miles. Time airborne 44:21. Flight time 58:10. Time on the ground 25:48. Average speed 148.07 knots. Climb time 7 minutes. Cruise time 23 minutes 34 seconds. Average cruise speed was 238.61 knots. Set time 13:47. Landing speed 68.95 knots. Came down to 151.54 feet a minute. Says it was nice. Landing pitch 5.64 degrees. Landing weight 6,596 pounds. Total fuel use 214 pounds. Climb we used 60. Used 100 on the 118 on the cruise. Using about 301 per hour. Set fuel use 35 pounds. They brought in $259 for the tickets. Because it was such a short flight. Cargo $276. We paid $97 for the fuel. $9 for the airport taxes. $23 for insurance. Total income was $406 times the 50 gives $20,000. Our 5 aircraft brought in another $40,217, giving us $60,517 for this flight. By the way, since we're in the Caribbean, all the flights are going to be short because there's just, Caribbean's a small area. They thought we should be 100%, so we increased 0.23% to 97.73%. Although we lose the beacon anyway, because we don't have a beacon light. But we picked up 230 and lost 50. Very nice landing was, we got 50, 150 for the perfect flight, and 30 for the correct airport. Like I said, we lost the 50 because of the beacon. There she is. I gotta say, I'm really struggling with this aircraft, especially upon landing. It feels like we're so low and I can't see out of the deck-on thing. I don't know. It's just feeling really awkward. Maybe I just need to, get in it, work on it some more when I'm not flying FsPassengers, which is fine. Just kind of work on that, because it's got a really, really awkward feel to it for me, as far as I can tell. But, yeah. And like I say, these flights will be short here in the Caribbean. And also, working with these procedures, I don't obviously fly this plane all that much. I haven't even flown this plane again in probably maybe like 2 weeks. I've been out of town and stuff as well a couple times since we last flew, and I have to go out of town in another week or so. So I'll try and get some flights done in this, get some more videos, and like I say, work with it, because I obviously need to work with this plane, the procedures, and especially the landing. Get that all down pat. Hopefully do a lot better videos. It's kind of worrisome right now. But yeah, that's going to be it for this episode, everybody. I hope you all did enjoy it, and I will catch you guys on the next flight.